Does this look good? Does this look a good image? As much as I love the great dark, ever-encompassing void behind me, you know, my hair doesn't look good in front of it. I want to switch it up a bit. Can you blame me? So there's been a few videos and stories going around lately about the alt-right pipeline or anti-SJW rabbit hole, especially on YouTube, and how it's been fueling the radicalization of a lot of young people. And now, although my personal life story does bear some similarities between the personal life stories of the people who've gone down this rabbit hole, or at least I've never believed that stuff, my recommendations are totally screwed. I have ruined my recommendations for the sake of this channel. I hope you have appreciated the sacrifices I have made in the name of science and progress. And while there are many reasons why I was not susceptible to it, my chronic health, my friends, especially my LGBT friends, my chronic poverty, my big titty goth socialist ex-GF, I do have one relevant anecdote I find a little amusing in hindsight. And I've seen a lot of accusations lately from these really far-right people that this whole thing is a conspiracy and being funded. It's clearly not true. While I can't honestly say I've ever fallen down the rabbit hole myself, I do feel like in the greater discussion of things, sharing this story is kind of relevant. You know, at the very least, it's helping the fight, right? So back in college, I was in this student organization called the Secular Free Thought Society. I know, hold on. It was 2012 through 2014. It was a different time. It was good for me at the time. Just about every meeting, we'd be discussing things like philosophy and life and works of fiction. I loved it. Sometimes we'd have these fun events. It wasn't very big, but it was fun. We even had this one event with these mock presentations where we randomly got assigned someone else in the group. We had to assign them a topic which they had to defend in front of everybody else. It was really fun. And honestly, I'd like to do that one again. That was pretty fun. And every year they'd host a debate with that Brother Jed preacher. Yeah, no, really, they did. I really enjoyed it. But you know, times change. That organization is now defunct. Doesn't exist anymore. Last I checked, anyway. One day, I overheard this conversation between two members. I actually really like Joe Rogan's podcast. In hindsight, that should have been a red flag. At the time, I didn't think much of it. I didn't know who Joe Rogan was. I looked into him out of curiosity around that time. I remember I found him saying some dumb stuff about homeopathy and medicine. I do remember one of the things I found was him talking about taking all your medications or vitamins or something all at once. Anyway, I wrote him off as some weirdo. I wrote him off as another internet crazy. You know, I don't quite remember, I'm not quite sure what exactly it was that made me reach a negative opinion about him. Although looking at it now, I think it may have had something to do with his connection to the nootropic alpha brain, or something like that anyway. Nootropics are supplements that often claim to improve your mental or cognitive abilities. And as you can probably guess, there is little to no scientific evidence that suggests that they do what they claim to do. In fact, when you read the Alpha Brain website now, it's kind of just screaming giant scam to me. A fun little note, this little cross icon appears on the main page 5 times to indicate that this statement has not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. This is attached to a few claims such as clinically studied to help healthy individuals support memory, focus, and processing speed. Nootropic, noun. Adjective, dietary supplement that helps support certain brain functions such as memory, mental speed, and focus.
This statement has not been evaluated by the FDA.
Kind of sounds like it's a scam for people who are insecure with their brains. You know, kind of like, see, instant performance boost. Grow 420, 69 inches overnight. Oh, God. And here they even have these cute little graphs. Memory, brainwave optimization, focus. And shocking as it may be, they are actually quoting a study here, which links to an NIH PubMed page, which shows that they are referring to a singular study with a sample size of 63 people, and the conclusion states that further study is needed. Now, I could go further into this, but I have to pay to have full access to the full text of the study. $7 for 48 hours, $16.50 for read only, $42 for full text? Oh geez, this whole thing is a scam. Look, okay, if I'm wrong about this, and alpha brain is ever proven to be a real thing beyond a shadow of a doubt, I'll admit that I'm wrong, all right? I await that day with bated breath. This page also says it was funded by Own It. Own It? Onnit. I'm going to go with Onnit. That's the company that sells Alpha Brain. So on the one hand, it does make sense that they would fund the study into their own product. But on the other hand, I think that's called a conflict of interest. If that's the only study done about your product, well, a little suspicious, don't you think? But again, in hindsight, I am proud of my 20-year-old self for reaching that conclusion and not just going with whatever my colleagues were doing. I know we've all done and said things in our early adult years that we regret and we wish we could do again or take back. There's no shame in that. But I gotta say, damn, good job, kid. Also in hindsight, should have been our major red flag when one of them made a Facebook post talking about Lolita being a beautiful story. And no, they were not a guy. No. That was it was not a man who wrote that. That was a woman. Ew. Just ew all around. So anyway, let's fast forward several years later. Trump is elected. It is bad. And Jordan Peterson is coming to town. No, really, he was doing a performance in Phoenix. I make a rather simple and boring, in my opinion, Facebook post about not getting suckered in by him. I still kind of used Facebook back then. Oh boy, those secular free thought people did not like that. I tried discussing it with some of them, but, well, we all know how that goes. And one tried to say to me that they only cared about the self-help stuff and not the political stuff. But later they also said that the bill C-16 was forcing compelled speech. So, get it together, man. I see through your lies. And so, while my back was turned to them, they were suckered in. And by the time I realized, it was too late. My colleagues whose company I once thoroughly enjoyed are gone now. They're down the pipeline. And towards the end of my relationships with them, they were even defending Richard Spencer after he got punched. And they even voiced opposition to Antifa protests. Joe Rogan introduced them to these people. And I don't know, maybe they were going to go down this pathway anyway, and there was nothing I could do about it. It may have been inevitable, but it doesn't matter. I blocked them all anyway and started making YouTube videos instead of arguing on Facebook. A much better use of my time. It didn't really matter much to me back in the day. Joe Rogan was just another dumbass with a podcast. And part of that still holds true. If you believe in nootropics or astrology or an all beef diet or something like that, I'm going to doubt your thought processes. I think I said that word right. And I know this sounds very condescending, elitist, and rude of me. And I'm sorry, but you're not operating in the same world. Not the same one as me. It was my arrogant and cocky self that stopped me from going down the rabbit hole. Oh, that's gonna do me wonders. Yeah, that's not gonna feed my ego in any way. Hey guys, so I just finished editing and I realized I didn't actually make an outro to this video. That's really weird. I'm usually on top of that. I don't know. Sometimes my brain don't work so good. I could probably use more of that alpha brain force or whatever. I don't know, drink more soy. So I'd like to give a special thank you to my Patreon backers, Jari Puolamo, Joshua Moldenhauer, and Susie M. What do y'all think of this thing? I thought it looked neat. I stole it. Anyway, starting this month, I'm going to do a new thing for Patreon backers where you're going to help decide what I'm going to do with it. I don't know. Want to paint some aviator shades on it? That might be neat. There's a bunch of flowers here. We could turn them into, that's not safe for YouTube, I guess.